Another new movie review. Excellent! So Bill and Ted Face the Music tell the story of Bill and Ted traveling through the future to find a future version of themselves that have already written the song that will unite the universe. Well, it's finally here, everybody. The third and final chapter in the Bill and Ted saga is upon us. Felt like one of those movies that was just never going to get made and was always going to be talked about. I think it's been over a decade now of regular talks from Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves about it's going to happen, we're talking about it, there's a script, it's going to happen, and it's finally here. Now, Bill and Ted fans, this is one of those sequels that is both long awaited and long feared, because as us movie fans know, a lot of these sequels that take this long to get here and go through so much hell to finally reach us at our home, they have just about every single reason to be disappointing or to suck terribly. So is Bill and Ted Face the Music one of those examples, or is this a sequel that actually breaks the mold?
Bill, we've spent our whole life trying to unite the world. And I'm tired, dude.
Ted, we have a destiny to fulfill.
Whoa!
Greetings, my excellent friend.
So starting right off with the positives for Bill and Ted Face the Music, the main one that I really enjoyed, that constantly put a smile on my face, is how easily Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves, and even some of the side characters like William Sadler as Death, just jumped right back into these roles and did not miss a single beat. Alex Winter, I was kind of thinking he'd probably jump right back into Bill really easily. He didn't do a lot of acting since the 80s and early 90s, so he should be able to jump back to his most iconic role pretty easily. Keanu Reeves, I was a little worried about, because Keanu Reeves has done a lot since Bill and Ted. He's been in The Matrix, one of the most iconic sci-fi action movies ever. He's John Wick now. He's the epitome of death. How are you going to get back into dumbing down yourself to Ted Theodore Logan? And I'm pleased to say he did pretty damn good.
Hey, Death!
Life, it isn't a wild stallion.
Let's rock!
And I was impressed at how well they preserved the personalities and the dialogue and just the mannerisms of these two characters so well since the 90s. 1991, I think, was the last one, so almost 30 years since they've been these characters, and they preserved them so well.
Except, won't that be stealing?
Cheers! How is that stealing? If we're stealing it from ourselves, dude.
They have not aged or matured at all. They are exactly how they were in the first two movies, but they're in their 40s. And I really enjoyed the story here. I love the fact that they brought back the time travel aspect from the first movie. I love Bogus Journey as well, but Excellent Adventure is certainly the more iconic of the two, certainly more celebrated, a little bit more pop culture recognition in that one. And bringing back that phone booth is awesome. Going back to the future and to the past, to, you know, Bill and Ted are going up to try to meet future versions of themselves, which is hilarious, and all the hijinks that ensues with that. They have their two daughters that are going in the past through another time travel apparatus to try to grab all of these iconic music artists to assemble this band for when their fathers come back. So it was cool seeing both ends of that time travel aspect. But also, I just like the story here where they've always been told, you're going to be the saviors of the universe. You're going to write that one song that's going to unite humanity, and that's why you're so important. And then we've had 30 years, and Bill and Ted have had 30 years, and it's never happened. They're just sitting there like, well, when are we going to write this song? Because we're a bunch of burnouts, and the future people said that we were going to do this. I like that whole storyline that was written to make sense for this time gap between sequels. I thought it was actually really clever. Speaking of their daughters, Samara Weaving and Bridget Payne, I believe her name was, were awesome as the two daughters of Thea and Billy.
Thea! Billy! Dad! How you doing?
Well, you know, we're dead and we're in hell.
But how you doing?
But we're good.
In a way, they're almost the best part of the movie. You have the two daughters, one of which is the daughter of Bill that has Ted's name, one of which is the daughter of Ted that has Bill's name, and they have the exact personalities that you would expect the daughters of Bill and Ted to have. They have a little bit more, you know, new age sense to them. They have a little bit more music knowledge. They kind of take their father's interests and their father's passions and kind of turn it up to 11 like some of us children do. And it was a lot of fun. I love seeing Samara Weaving. She's quickly becoming one of my favorite like genre actresses. Bridget Payne, I've seen a lot of good things from her before. So they are awesome. And it takes a lot to have a franchise like this that is basically all surrounding the two titular characters, and you introduce characters that actually show up the titular characters. And finally, I think this movie is a really good conclusion to this Bill and Ted franchise. You know, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey ends in a note where that could have easily been the end there. That could have been it, but they've been talking about this idea for a while. All of us Bill and Ted fans are like, yeah, there's room for more story, and you get here and it does not feel like this unnecessary sequel that's just trying to grab a quick buck off of name recognition. It actually has a good story and a good conclusion to all of the themes and all of the things that were set up all the way from the beginning of Excellent Adventure. So I think if you're a Bill and Ted fan, you will be satisfied with where they end things and where things go in this third and final chapter. As far as mixed aspects, the only one that I can really talk about is that this is a movie that is made for Bill and Ted fans, and I don't think non-Bill and Ted fans will have any interest or any enjoyment in this whatsoever. You know, this is a movie that certainly is made for those that love the first two movies, know the story, know these characters, and it doesn't really bother trying to sell anybody else on that. Now, that's a good thing for us Bill and Ted fans, because we've been the ones waiting for it, we've been the ones cheering for it, so when you get this and it's made for you, it's like a little wrapped present from the director, and that's cool. But I do like the fact that some franchises either have the ability or do the effort to try to bring in a new generation, try to have this long-awaited sequel come out that can appeal to new generations and make them go, cool, let me go check out the first two movies now. I don't think they necessarily nailed that appeal with Bill and Ted Face the Music. I don't see a whole lot of people, aside from maybe young kids, watching this movie without having seen the first two and going, this is awesome, let me check out the other ones. I also have to recognize that the style of humor that they're going for here is very dated and deadpan, to where, just like I was saying, it really only appeals to fans of these characters, to where you know why they're that way. You kind of jump right back into the seat of being a fan, the way that they jump back into the seats of playing these characters. It's a style of humor that's, you know, that kind of dim-witted, stonerish, you know, never really knowing anything, never really knowing what to do, not really having much intelligence kind of humor that you don't really see too much anymore in comedy, certainly not successfully. So it's going to depend on your taste. I didn't really laugh so much in this movie. Maybe it's because this is not as funny as the first two, or maybe it's just because I'm matured, so this type of humor doesn't hit me the way it did in the first two, but it's enjoyable if you're a fan. It's not necessarily one that stands out as having this awesome new age writing that has these iconic moments or these standout laugh out loud moments like you will remember for the first two. And my last negative, which is really just a nitpick. This is something that probably is exclusive to me and maybe a few other people. When you have Wild Stallions and Bill and Ted in the first movie that are quite obviously influenced and trying to bring 80s rock and 80s metal out through their band, and they even kind of go with that too in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey with that final concert and they're playing Kiss, it kind of disappointed me a bit that when you get to this movie and they're finally going to have this song and they're gathering all these music artists, that they're going for a lot of different genres. There's like a rap artist, they're going all the way back and getting, you know, people from the 20s, and you've got a drummer from a different genre. I mean, you get one rock icon in this band, and then there's one like rock cameo that's very entertaining and funny if you're a rock fan about halfway through the movie. But I just wondered why there wasn't more of that. Why wasn't there more rock icon references, more rock icon cameos, or, you know, more of a rock and metal influence into the story and where they're going with this time travel aspect? I know they're probably trying to just do the whole, you know, we got to unite the world, so we got to get all these different genres of music and kind of appeal to everybody type thing. I get it, but as characters that were clearly rock and metal characters, when you get to this one and they're like 25% rock and metal characters, I was like, there's a little bit of a missed opportunity there. You could have had Gene Simmons or somebody show up and just fill this movie out with a lot of moments like that, and I personally would have enjoyed it more.
We're putting together a most extraordinary band.
Hey, you want to be in our band?
But all in all, guys, if you're a Bill and Ted fan, this movie is for you. If you've been long awaiting this movie and you're wondering, wow, is this even going to be worth my time, or is this going to be an embarrassment to the first two films? It's worth your time. You will enjoy it. I'm not going to put it on the level of the first two. I definitely think it's the weakest of the three. But as a conclusion, as a long-awaited movie for us fans, I think that it delivers more than it fails on. And I think as far as wrapping up the story and ending this franchise, it does a pretty damn good job. So if you're a fan of Bill and Ted and you want to see what this long-awaited final chapter will deliver and how it closes out the story, have no fear, you will enjoy it. So check this thing out online right now and stream it. So what do you guys think of Bill and Ted Face the Music? Did you enjoy this one? Did you think it was an embarrassment? Are you not a fan of the first two and actually enjoyed this one? That would be kind of weird. Let me know your experience with Bill and Ted Face the Music, how long you've been looking forward to it, and did it deliver for you? Let me know. Please like and share this video. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. And remember guys, as always, opinions are like assholes, but that doesn't mean that you have to be.